It became clear that the two men were trying to hide something.
Dude, look how small they are. These are gonna be some of the children that we're gonna find out were being held in barrels.
While 2 children being recovered was good news, the fate of the 4 girls was still unknown.
So they were able to get the 2 boys, no problem, right? Only the 4 girls were the ones that were still yet to be found. John might have had a weird fixation on the girl children. I'm really scared as to where this is going.
Officers apprehend him immediately. Sam asks a question that makes his stomach churn.
Did you get the 4 kids?
What's that?
The 2 girls that were in a barrel.
What the hell? He's saying it so casually. Look, this is the compound. That is scary, and it's such a big area too to look for children that are in one of these barrels. Look how many barrels there are.
As the officer and his team reach the junkyard, what they witness sends a wave of dread over them.
Where's your sister?
The red one.
One of these?
Hello, YouTube. Very messed up video today. So yes, we are back with some more true crime today. The title of today's case is Cops Discover Missing Kids Hidden on Predator's Compound. The reason why I'm locked in, especially for this, is like obviously anything to do with children is like it hits me, bro. It hits me. But also, you know what's been going on recently, right? It's December 20th, 2025 at the time of me recording this video. We are currently in a time where the Epstein files are a very big point of contention in the political atmosphere right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Our entire government is basically covering for these monsters. Like, a lot of people in the government are intertwined in that disgusting trafficking ring, the Epstein Island. So with that being such a widely discussed topic right now, this subject in general is very sensitive. And, you know, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge that. That's why I'm more serious right now about this case, about this video that we're about to watch. Fuck pedophiles, fuck all defenders, and fuck Donald Trump. I'm gonna shut up now. Let's get into this.
We wanted to survive the coming up apocalypse.
So wait.
What the fuck? Crazy introduction. We wanted to survive the apocalypse. The day of deliverance? And then there's like this weird, mysterious symbol. Oh my god. Is this gonna be some Illuminati shit? It's the triangle. It's the eye.
So wait, they're in a like a red box or in a blue bucket like you two?
In a red box.
Did they call them their wives? He goes, yeah, he called them their wives and they kissed them.
Anybody that left would be killed.
I'll take it up in the helicopter and throw it out. We're just dangling until he tells us where the hell they are.
Did you get the 4 kids that were in a barrel?
I don't have children.
No more little girls out here.
When Utah police
Oh, wait, did y'all hear that? Did you get it's four kids.
4 kids that were in a barrel.
And they were in barrels. No more little girls out here. Oh my god. Y'all brace yourselves.
Little girls out here.
When Utah police were contacted by a concerned mother and informed that her ex-husband wasn't giving her their kids even though she had custody of them, they thought this would be a routine domestic dispute. Little did they know that they were stepping into a twisted world of lies, unimaginable violence, and doomsday cults that would lead to one of the most disturbing cases they had ever encountered. In September of 2017, Clark Christensen, the police chief of Spring City, Utah, was approached by Micah Coltharp and asked to do a wellness check at her in-laws' home.
Why is it, dude? Utah is such a strange state. Utah is home to really weird people, not just Mormons, but like, and trust me, I was born in Utah, so I'm very familiar with Mormons. No, but yeah, just a lot of weird people out there in Utah.
Was approached by Micah Coltharp and asked to do a wellness check at her in-laws' home. She explained that she was separated from her husband, John Coltharp, and that he and their 4 children currently all lived with John's parents, Keith and Catherine. Micah had tried to call John about seeing the kids, but his phone, his parents' phones, and the home phone had all been disconnected. Chief Christensen went over to the house to see if everything was okay, and as far as he could tell, it looked like the family had just set off for a vacation without telling anyone. Micah was insistent that something was wrong. The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor.
Oh yeah, we got the whole squad. We got the whole lineup, bro. Ready to analyze this shit. Let's go. Team Eru.
Hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything, detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother.
So John is the mastermind. This is John's wife, and then this is the mother of the wife.
I met John right after I turned 16. he was 21.
I met John right after I turned 16. He was 21. Also, immediately straight off the bat, John was a creep. Bro was 21, getting it on with a 16-year-old. Oh, hell no.
And, you know, we liked each other and wanted to start dating, and of course, you know, Mom said no. Yeah, so keeping Kathy would allow us to meet in secret and lie to them. They didn't care that I was underage or anything like that. When I met John, I was going through a lot of stuff and very depressed and looking for answers, and I was taking like religion classes in high school and stuff, and you know, when he came home from his mission,
This footage is glitching out hard.
he had all the answers. Everywhere
It looks creepy.
I went to, everyone's like, oh, this is what we believe, and he was like, no, this is answer, and like had proof and evidence, and it was answers for why the horrible things in my life were happening. And it was to the point where for the first time in a long time, I actually felt comforted and felt right and felt like things were going to be okay. So he lures you in with these promises of grandeur and happiness and reason for things. And then once you are in, it's like, now if you don't follow everything I say, these are the horrible, awful consequences, you know.
Oh, wow. Like, dude, John was crazy, threatening her.
These are the horrible, awful consequences.
These are the awful consequences if you don't obey me.
You know, in the government conspiracy.
And then he was giving, like, these weird, crazy government conspiracies to back him up. Like, what the fuck?
It's like, we get, you know, taken by police, you know, our kids are going to be murdered and put in the system, and every...
Oh, this guy's insane. This guy's insane.
That's all he would talk about. That's all he would research. He would have people over, all these different kinds of people talking about, like, earthquakes and different calamities, solar flares, planetary alignments, and all the reasons for why the world just...
Given John's strange obsession and her growing concern for her children, Micah worked with one of her husband John's siblings, Heather, to get a spare key to the house. Chief Christensen entered the house with Micah, and they immediately knew that this was more than just a family taking a spontaneous vacation. Something truly terrible was going on. The house...
Oh, you guys think it's a cult? I'm seeing that in chat. You guys think it's like some weird file cult?
Something truly terrible was going on. The house had been completely ransacked. All of the furniture, ranging from mattresses to couches, had been taken, and even the photos were missing off the walls. Oddly, the electronics, including TVs and computers, had been left discarded in the house. Chief Christensen talked with John's sister Heather to determine if she had any idea what could have happened to John, Keith, Catherine, and the kids. Not only was she just as surprised as they were, but she had even more shocking information to share with them. The grandparents had banned all of their other children and grandchildren from visiting after John had moved back in. Worried that the children might be in danger, Chief Christensen began asking around the neighborhood to see if anyone knew why the Coltharps had left. According to one of Keith's friends, the family had been seen packing everything into a U-Haul the previous day, and Keith himself had said that they were moving to Cedar City because something bad was happening.
Okay, so right here, this is John's father. His name's Keith.
Because something bad was happening. Micah's mother further elaborated how tumultuous Micah's life had been.
And then Micah is the mom of John's wife. Okay.
I have not liked him from the day I met him, and he knows it because he's got such a freaking cocky attitude that he comes to get what he wants out of it. His social skills lack in a big way, and he offends me at every turn. But my daughter, on the other hand, was under mind control, and she was married when she was 19. She was baptized when she was 18, and he performed the baptism. It was a shock to us. We chose not to disown her, but to accept her and her choices and see how far it went. And we forbid political conversation and religious conversation in our house.
Hey, always trust mom, bro. Always trust your mom's intuition. Relationship advice too. You heard what the mom just said right now. If the mom don't fuck with your partner, there's a reason, bro. In all of these stories, the mom always ends up being right. It's weird.
But one day they walked in and they were both in flowing black coats, black clothes, black overalls. She was pregnant, and they walked in and John started talking about black helicopters, mercenaries taking over and shooting everybody, all this wacko stuff, and creating all this stuff in his head. And we were just like, oh my God. And then he said he had lost his job. He couldn't make enough money to support his family, and they informed us they were moving here. And I couldn't say anything about it. She was 19 years old. We came out here, and I even drove out with them. They packed a giant U-Haul, and I drove his car, and he drove us into an apartment he rented over the internet. And we pulled into this low-class, unkept neighborhood into an apartment that had been occupied by college students who had spilled beer and peed all over the floor, never been cleaned. And John walked in, and Micah was a few months pregnant, sick as a dog, and he looked at her and he's like, you know, better start cleaning. I was angry, and I knew what I was in for right then and there. She wouldn't listen to me until a couple years ago. She just got a driver's license 2 years ago. That's how much he's kept her back. She barely finished high school. He talked her into giving up her college education and her graduate school. and everything she'd ever attempted to do, he shamed her out of or done something to take her.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's another red flag right there. So John was basically convincing his wife to not pursue her goals, encouraging her to be a bum. Like, don't go do this, don't be ambitious. How am I meant to control a strong, intelligent woman? You want to go to university? Are you kidding me? You need to be my puppet.
He talked her into giving up her college education and her graduate school, and everything she'd ever attempted to do, he shamed her out of or done something to take her.
He shamed her out of going to college, yeah.
Doesn't allow his children in public. He doesn't want them getting people's terms. He doesn't want them getting people's opinions.
This is troubling, but not particularly surprising. It's the grandiosity, sense of entitlement, and exploitative nature of people with antisocial personality disorder that often leads to them treating others, particularly their romantic partners, as their property, rather than a human being with individual rights and autonomy.
Losers like this, they want to feel control over something by any means necessary.
It also makes sense that he would try to hinder any accomplishments, like a driver's license or schooling, as these would provide her with independence from him and potentially expose her to a world outside of John and his delusions. With no way to contact or find them, Micah was terrified that her kids might be in some sort of danger. So Chief Christensen advised her to get a lawyer and a divorce, as currently she and John were still married, and he had every right to go somewhere with his kids. After a tumultuous process, Micah was finally granted a divorce and given full custody of the children on November 27th, over a month after John had disappeared with them.
Good.
Unfortunately, now it was time for the hard part, finding John and getting the kids from him.
Oh, God.
In the time it took Micah to get a divorce, a few neighbors had spotted John going back to his parents' house to pick things up before disappearing again. Knowing that John had to show up again eventually, Chief Christensen began sitting outside of the Coltharps' home, waiting for his chance to speak with John. Around midnight on December 1st, John finally showed up at his parents' house again. However, this time, he wasn't alone. With him was Samuel Schaefer, a close friend of his. When Chief Christensen approached the two men and asked why they were there, they told him that they were picking up Micah's death certificate. As Micah was not dead, and Chief Christensen obviously knew this, it became clear that the two men were trying to hide something.
That's very weird. Yeah, he's not, like, she's not dead, and then they're saying that they're gonna go pick up her death certificate? What the fuck? That's scary.
It became clear that the two men were trying to hide something. But the extent of the horrors they were covering up couldn't even be imagined at this point. When John refused to tell him where the children were so they could be given over to Micah, Chief Christensen had John arrested. Despite his worry that Sam was involved in some way, he had nothing to hold Sam on and had to let him go. This would prove to have tragic consequences. John declined when asked to speak to detectives, asking for a lawyer and refusing to cooperate. Eventually, though, the police were able to locate Keith and Catherine's cars on a compound near Lund, where John and Sam had been living not only with John's parents and 4 children, but also with Sam's 2 daughters.
Oh my, dude, look how small they are. These are gonna be some of the children that we're gonna find out were being held in barrels.
The compound was raided on December 3rd, and the authorities were disgusted by the living conditions that they found there. The storage containers that made up the compound were riddled with filth, trash, and clutter. Boxes and containers lined the floor, and dirt had been caked onto every surface. Among the junk and the refuse of the compound, there were signs of the children. Children's clothes, toys, and drawings could be found throughout the storage containers.
Oh, also based child, being My Little Pony fans. Let's go.
However, there was no sign of any of the 6 children themselves. After dedicated searching, the police were able to find John's 2 sons, alongside their grandparents, Keith and Catherine. Strangely, the 2 young boys' hair was so filled with tree sap that everyone thought they'd have to shave their heads. While 2 children being recovered was good news, the fate of the 4 girls was still unknown.
Ooh, key detail. So they were able to get the 2 boys, no problem, right? Only the 4 girls were the ones that were still yet to be found. John might have had a weird fixation on the girl children. I'm really scared as to where this is going.
The fate of the 4 girls was still unknown. Keith and Catherine were questioned about the location of the girls, but they insisted that Sam had hidden them, and they had no idea where he or any of the girls were. While they hadn't been able to find all of the children, the police did find something else that gave them insight into this whole strange situation in the form of a binder. The papers within the binder contained the rules and beliefs for a fundamentalist cult named the Knights of the Crystal Blade. The cult not only took beliefs from the Mormon religion, but also
What did I say, bro? I literally referenced Mormons at the beginning when we were talking about Utah.
The cult not only took beliefs from the Mormon religion, but also simultaneously believed in Norse gods and Roman gods. While the cult did take beliefs from several religions, it's important to remember that they weren't formally associated with or accepted by any of these religions. With further reading into the binder, authorities learned that John and Sam were not only a part of this cult, but they had actually started it. According to the binder, Sam was a seer for the cult, with many of his strange so-called revelations listed for authorities to read.
They started
John
this
was the
shit.
group's leader, and according to the cult's rules, he was to be worshipped like a god. Though the
Of course, they always make themselves out to be the god.
apparently John had foreseen an impending end, though the details of what that meant wouldn't be revealed until later. Discovering John and Sam's involvement in cult activity was highly concerning to authorities, and an Amber Alert was put out for the 4 missing girls. While one team stayed on the ground, desperately trying to find them, another set of detectives decided to talk to Micah and her mother, as well as John's parents, hoping to get some background on John, the seeming mastermind behind everything. Through these interviews, the investigators soon discovered that all this talk about the coming apocalypse was a chilling cover for something far more horrifying than anything they could have imagined.
So how did John get custody of the children? How did he get physical possession of the children? When was that?
So we lived in an apartment that had an upstairs and a downstairs, and how we broke it down was he lived upstairs, I lived downstairs, and the kids go freely between the two. And he worked during the day, and I worked at night. So the second he got home from work, I left. So there was always someone there with the kids, and we decided, okay, we'll just co-parent. And I wanted a divorce. He said, no, we have to wait. Let's wait till at least the new year, and then we can have a whole fiscal year, and then it won't be all messed up on taxes. And I was like, all right, fine, because I couldn't afford it anyway. I didn't have a dime in my name. We were in $40,000 of debt, the majority of which was spent on survival gear, anything he wanted for his computers.
What year was that?
This year.
Okay. This year? And where were you living? Where's your apartment?
Provo.
Provo? Okay.
So.
Is that where you live now? Same apartment or different?
Different apartment.
Okay.
The reason I don't live there anymore is because end of May, he came to me and told me that he was fired and that his company was going out of business. After he went missing, I talked to his boss and he goes, oh, no, he quit. We begged him to stay. He said he had a family emergency. So he came to me and he goes, I've lost my job. We can't afford the apartment anymore without my income. I've decided I no longer want to be a member of this society. I am no longer working. I'm going to live off my parents' Social Security.
Holy bum. Bo literally said, I don't want to be a part of this society. I'm going to live off my parents' Social Security. Jesus.
As a landlord, we have to be out in a couple weeks. I'm taking the kids to San Pete, and you're going to come with me. And I said, I don't have a job down there. There are no jobs. Someone has to take care of the kids. He goes, you don't need to worry about that. My parents are going to pay for it. We'll live off our food storage. I'm like, the kids need clothes. They need food that is nutritious. They need all these things. They have to have a future. We can't just give up everything. And he's like, well, then you're on your ass. I was working 65 hours a week. So I was working so much to make money and take food and clothes down there on the weekends, and that's the only time I got to see them. I was working at a place called Elevate Health Sciences, and he didn't care.
Damn, so she had to step up. She had to be the one to put on the pants in the relationship. Horrible father.
Because the world was going to end.
So prior to that, did they go to any public schools?
No, he refused to let me do anything. I agreed with
So they've been homeschooled their entire life?
I agreed with homeschooling to a point because they were young, and I got to the point where John wouldn't allow the kids to socialize with any of the neighborhood kids, or even with the cousins, because he was such a germaphobe. He didn't want anyone to get sick. And then I got to the point where I was like, all right, I've taught them as much as I can personally. I'm not a teacher. I've tried. This is very hard for me, and especially with kids 4 different ages. They need something more. I can't do this. They need something beyond what I can give them. And he refused to give them any sort of tutoring, schooling, whatever. He's like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. None of them can read. None of them can do math. They're bright kids. And when I would try to talk to him about teaching, all he wanted to teach about was, like, religion.
It's hard to imagine that John's parents, or anyone for that matter, would be willing to let him move in.
I just hate that religion. See, did you guys pick that up, by the way? All he wanted to teach the kids about was religion. Religion is always weaponized to force your viewpoints down children's throats. I hate when that's so common. I hate that that's so common. Religion is always used as a front for manipulation and to basically make people subservient to you.
It's hard to imagine that John's parents, or anyone for that matter, would be willing to let him move in and continue to treat his children this way. But as the detectives were about to discover, Keith and Catherine Coltharp had an interesting story of their own to tell.
I do have a question. Are we being charged with something tonight?
At this point, all my job is to do is get the facts. I don't know if there's anything. I would like to just speak with you and get this whole
So they're questioning the parents now of John.
story. This is a mess.
All right.
Keeping your right to mind.
Yeah, my wife and I both were just really beside ourselves with all this because we thought we didn't know we were doing anything wrong either.
Right.
We don't think we've done anything wrong. In fact, we're just taking care of our grandkids.
Okay.
It's obvious that even though Keith is positive he hasn't done anything wrong, he's still nervous that he and his wife might be getting in trouble. Part of his anxiety might be due to the layout of the room. Keith is literally backed into a corner with his access to the door blocked, which may make him feel trapped, anxious, or defensive. The Reed technique, a popular method of interrogation in the U.S., recommends that investigators not be seated between the subject and the door to prevent false imprisonment claims. Otherwise, the room conditions appear to be consistent with a typical interrogation room, stark and minimal. There's no barrier for Keith to hide behind, such as a table, so the detective is able to observe all his movements. Just like her husband, Catherine is insistent that they haven't done anything wrong. However, further questioning will prove that this might not be the whole truth. After both parents have been read their Miranda rights, detectives work with them to get a timeline on the family fleeing to the compound.
Interrogation methodology is super interesting. I don't know. I love learning about it from Iwu and even Stephanie in some cases, Rotten Mango. Like if I wasn't streaming, if I wasn't a content creator, I would love to, I don't know. I think I would definitely pursue something along these lines. I don't know. I think it's really interesting.
Detectives work with them to get a timeline on the family fleeing to the compound.
I guess for quite a while, myself and my husband had been, looking at the world events and everything, and, we read the scriptures and saw the prophecies of the end times and everything, and John was always talking to us. I mean, he was always talking to us about that stuff, and so we were into it. It was interesting, and, we believed that, we're probably near the end of times, and we wonder how the Lord's going to gather his people to safety and all that. John started talking to us and telling us that he had received revelations that we are to gather out because things are going to start happening.
So in this process, it got to a point where Micah was demanding to pick up the kids and take them to her apartment in Provo with a guy that she was living in with there, and John wouldn't put up with that. He said, no. He said, we got to leave. So within 2 days, we had a U-Haul van, and we're loading everything up, taking stuff out of our house, and we were out of there.
The revelations he'd gotten on the end times, and we're supposed to get out of Babylon, and her wanting to take the kids, we said, okay, let's go. And we didn't think it was illegal to take the kids as he had them.
At the compound, officers continue to look for the missing children, but their endeavors have hit a dead end. John continues.
Yeah, he was so insane,
leaving the officers with no choice but to rely solely on tips from the Amber Alert. Additionally, they're banking on any insights gleaned from Catherine and Keith's interviews, hoping they might offer a hint or clue to the whereabouts of Sam and the missing girls. Back at the station, not only do detectives now have a better idea of why and when the family packed up and moved to the compound, they've also gained a lot more insight into John as a person. First of all, it seems likely that John described Micah in a very negative light to his parents in order to elicit their help. He may have wanted them to see him as the victim in the situation, so they would be sympathetic toward him.
They always make themselves out to be the victim every time. In all of these cases, like the abuser / perpetrator, even like for their own sake, it's not even to manipulate other people. It's like they have to manipulate themselves too to give them the quote unquote strength to commit their atrocious acts. They have to believe that they're justified.
Yet, as Keith is about to admit, John didn't just rescue his parents from the supposed apocalypse because he loved them.
He got a commitment from us before we left that we were going to support.
Yeah, he's saying shit like he's saving his parents. Like, wow.
And what does that mean to you?
He was in charge. We had to vote to allow him to be in charge.
But financially, who was paying for it all?
Me.
You
He took all my money.
He had you make a commitment to support him financially and support his cause?
Yeah.
By doing that, did you close your bank accounts and stuff too, or?
No, in fact, I left all the credit open that I had. In fact, I was almost debt free. It was really upsetting about all this whole thing. But so what he did is he had me stop making mortgage payments and stop paying the bills and run up my credit cards all the way up. He bought a Chevy Suburban from a place in Cedar City, Black, fresh. Yeah, it's a 2016 Suburban.
So what was his reasoning for needing that vehicle?
Do missionary work, proselyting.
Keith readily admits to being convinced by John to financially support the cult, which is indicative of John's manipulative and parasitic tendencies. It's possible that he's using these so-called revelations and prophecies as a way of convincing his parents to support him financially as they fled off the grid with him and the kids. This would also explain why he wanted Micah out of the picture so badly.
Look, this is the compound. That is scary, and it's such a big area too to look for children that are in one of these barrels. Look how many barrels there are. Like it's chilling. Like you could have been out there and you would have never suspected there was kids in one of these. That's so scary.
This would also explain why he wanted Micah out of the picture so badly. He likely knew his days of manipulating and controlling her were long over, so he needed to get financial support and run with the kids as fast as possible.
The revelations that John receives and Sam received had to come from somewhere, but I don't believe they were from God now as I look back. They were so convincing and so beautifully written out of a language that they never would have used. And they were uplifting.
Having studied it extensively, John is familiar enough with the Bible that it was likely easy for him to manipulate his words into sounding biblical enough to fool his parents. As Catherine is starting to realize, everything her son has told her seems to just be a ruse in order to get her and her husband's money. But that's not the only reason he wanted to go to the compound, and that true reason is more disturbing than anyone can imagine. On December 4th, just a day after the compound raid and the Amber Alert is issued for the missing girls, officers received a pivotal tip. A concerned caller reported a suspicious man in the Lund area. At the scene, officers are stunned to recognize the person. It was Sam Schaefer. With none of the girls in sight and Sam walking in the same vicinity as the trailer where John's parents were found, officers apprehend him immediately. As one of the officers drives him to the commander center for further questioning, Sam asks a question that makes his stomach churn.
Did you get the 4 kids? Or
What's that?
the 2 girls that were in a barrel, wrapped up so they'd be warm.
In a barrel?
If I was the cop, I would be like, what the did you just say? What the hell? He's saying it so casually.
After dodging any questions about the missing girls, Sam suddenly inquired if the officers had found them. What truly sent shivers down the spine
And
was his...
yeah, did you guys hear that? And it's before they found the girls. So he's revealing that. He's just dumping that information on them right here in this footage.
nonchalant remark that they were warm in a barrel. The officer immediately informs the other officers via police radio. But this was
Yeah, they're hauling ass now.
a settling twist in the story.
Yeah, I was in the back of the junkyard with the red storage bins.
Where at?
Back of the junkyard in the red storage bins. Couple of
Here on the property?
on the property behind.
You know, yeah, it's a property that's back
all the
behind to
junk
the
at?
right a little bit. It's got red containers on
Red container. What color's the barrel?
it. Blue.
It's a blue barrel. He's saying, "I'm gonna pick his stuff up from where we're at."
I can't imagine it'd still be in it. I was
So is this by the North Connex boxes?
that junkyard, yeah.
Back in the junkyard.
Oh, it's to the back of the left of the junkyard. I doubt they're still in there. I just was scared.
How far back?
Maybe I'm a bad estimator distance, maybe 40 yards or something.
As he rushes to rescue the little girls, Sam's nonchalant attitude about this entire situation continues to baffle the officer.
If they're still there, they're gonna need water and well, no matter where they've been, they need water. Food.
As the officer and his team reach the junkyard, what they witness sends a wave of dread over them.
I left him in a blue barrel.
Oh God, here we go. Oh shit, is that one of them?
Hi.
Is that one of them?
What's the matter? Who's gone? Where's your sister? What's her name?
Oh my God, she's in there.
What's her name?
Oh my, her little boots and her little polka dot, dude. Oh my gosh. It's things like this that just make me weak, bro.
Where's the other 2 girls?
They're in the storage container.
Which one?
The red one.
One of these?
No. A storage container very far away.
Cedar, one of you 15.
Is it that one?
Who's in here?
Dude, personally, as a cop in this situation, like I would fight the urge to tear up, basically.
Correction, I need command. Is she okay? Are you doing okay in there? Okay, you want to come out here? Let's get you over one of our trucks and get you warm. Okay? Command, one of you 15.
That sound okay?
Okay.
I haven't got a radio for cell phone on yet.
Okay, are you cold?
We
Command, I believe we have the 2 Schaefer daughters. We cannot locate the other. They were locked in a container. Hey, let's go to my truck so you can get warm. Let's get her out. Make sure it's okay. Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Cedar, want to be a 15 or command? Let's start medical this way, please. Cover up with your blankie. Let's go to my truck. Yeah, let's get you to our truck so we can get you warm, okay?
In a heart-wrenching sight, officers find 2 girls, aged 7 and 4, freezing out in the open with a loaded gun next to them.
A gun was next to them? Whoa, that's really weird. And look at this lousy foam. This is what the creep in the police car was referring to when they said that they were wrapped in a blanket to keep them warm. This looks like foam. That's not keeping anybody warm.
While one of the girls speaks with the officers, the other is both too cold and too scared to climb out of the barrel, as the officers continue to assure her to trust them.
Okay. What's that? I'm about 1,000 yards north of where you buzzed me earlier. Out here, kind of a junkyard. I'm away from my truck. I can't turn my lights on. It's okay, all right? Come on out. Come on out. We'll wrap you up in your jacket, okay? We'll make sure you stay warm. We got to get you to a warm vehicle. Come on.
The police.
Yeah, we're the police, yes.
Over there.
We're here to help you.
There's a whole bunch of us out here trying to find you guys.
Okay, just come on out. Come on out. We have to find the other 2.
As the officers continue to convince the little girl, all units rush to the location. including those who picked up Sam.
They sound so innocent. Like, I mean, they're very clearly kids. Like, yeah, duh, no shit. Like, look at them, they're kids. But like the way that they're pointing at the cop car saying like, look, police over there. Like, they don't even realize the situation that these are the police right here trying to help them. And it's like they're seeing things for the first time. That just shows you how insulated from the world their father was keeping them. The father didn't allow them to go to regular school, to go visit like the outside world. Basically, this compound is all they know.
Both of John's daughters still missing. Police deployed trucks, vans, and helicopters to begin scouting the location. Officers on the ground continue to interrogate Sam about the location of the 2 missing girls. What he reveals next is nothing short of horrific.
Gosh, I just want to keep him warm. I thought I was going to come back for him. You know what I mean?
Well, where have you been?
Just down south.
You walked there from last night, clear down south today?
Yeah.
Are these your daughters or are these your friends' daughters?
Should I say? Or I guess. One of them's mine, one of them's John's.
Contrary to what the officers had assumed, the 4-year-old in the barrels was John's youngest daughter. This meant that the other 2 missing girls were John's older daughter and Sam's younger.
Which one's yours?
The tall one with the dress.
And what's her name? Is that all that's out here? There's no more little girls out here?
No, not out here. Yeah.
You don't have any more little girls? I was told you have 2 little girls of your own, biological of your own.
2 of my own.
Yeah.
That's one of my own right there. And so.
Where's the other one at?
She's with my other daughter.
Where's your other daughter at? If they're out, the reason I'm asking, if they're out here,
yeah.
It was only 23 degrees in Cedar last night.
Oh no, they're not outside.
Listen to how calm he's talking. Is this Sam? How calm he's talking about these little girls that they locked up in barrels. He's just so like, yeah, they might be over there. Yeah.
It was only 23 degrees in Cedar last night.
Oh no, they're not outside. They're at a friend's house.
Down in St. George?
No, not there specifically. But should I? I mean, I was under the impression too that John told me to protect the girls, and he didn't want them to be taken, and I just respect his wishes. I fear he has custody, so I didn't think it'd turn out into this. You know,
Bro's laughing.
So these are the only 2 girls that are out here right now.
Out in the wild, yeah.
And you stuck them in that barrel.
Yeah.
To keep them warm?
Right, to keep them warm.
Why don't you just take them back to the house?
Excellent question, officer. I would like to know that as well. I would ask that question too. Like, oh, so you put them in the barrel to keep them warm outside? I'm wondering, why not just bring them in the fucking house like normal people?
Why don't you just take them back to the house?
I figured I'd be arrested on the spot, of course. And
so you put them in a 50-gallon drum?
Yeah, I was gonna come back, and then I thought I was being followed, but I guess I don't know. I just went. So
let's go back to my car over here.
Yeah, sure.
Where are the other 2?
Down south and at a friend's house.
Where's that friend's house?
Should I say or should I not say?
It was 26 degrees Fahrenheit at night out there. So those girls were freezing.
And refuses to reveal the exact location of the other 2 girls. Officers continue to coax the little girl out of the barrel to safety.
Sweetie, you've got to come out. Come on. So we got 1 Colt Harp and 1 Schaefer? Yes, she's the Schaefer. She's the Colt Harp. Come on out. Come on out.
Oh, they found him.
All right, come here, grab her. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Watch the gun. Watch the gun. I got it.
It's crazy seeing them come out of barrels. Literally, I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words.
That's a blue barrel. You're okay. Don't be scared. I'm going to take you to a warm vehicle.
With the girls safe in the police truck and paramedics on the way, authorities regroup to discuss the next plan of action. While this is happening, an officer...
Somebody in chat asked, can I sever this guy's balls off? Permission granted, chatter. Permission granted. You may sever his balls off.
While this is happening, an officer continues to circle back and forth between Sam and the little girl seated in his truck.
Get a little drink, sweet. Can you drink out of a bottle? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. You take it. You take it and get a little drink. We'll get you some food as soon as we can, okay? I don't have any food, okay? Soon. You want some more? I'm going to leave this with you, okay? All right. Don't be scared, okay? We're here to help you, okay? All right. Be big girls.
Okay. And then I'm officially under arrest? Or...
AW cop for reassuring her.
You're a subject of a nationwide Amber Alert. Do you understand what that means?
No,
that sounds bad.
Let me
Rightfully
backtrack
so.
a little bit, too, because you're not officially under arrest. You are being detained while we further our investigation.
Okay.
Maybe that'll help clear things up for you.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up. I just wanted to know if if the arrest sticks, even if I say something or it doesn't matter because I broke the law without knowing I broke the law.
I broke the law without knowing I broke the law. the law he broke in question is locking little girls up in barrels outside. I didn't know that was bad, officer. Like, where's the law that says that I can't do that?
Does that make sense?
There's always mitigating and exigent circumstances in every case. I don't know your story yet.
Right.
I don't know the circumstances.
Right. Okay.
I do want to know where the other kids are.
I know you do. Yeah. I still
Whether you took them knowingly or unknowingly.
Right. I still want to respect
We
John's
have
wishes,
to.
but
We have to find you. What?
John's wishes, is he no longer the custodian?
He has zero rights to these kids. Zero.
Why is that?
Other than he's their biological father. That's it.
I thought I just took him and that was.
You could have been
That still
misled.
don't matter. Oh, okay.
You could have been misled.
I see.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So Sam's argument, his argument is going to be that he didn't know that this was happening or that he was manipulated into doing it. I don't know. I don't know what angle this idiot is going to try and go for. If he knew this was going on, he's guilty, bro. There's just no way to spin it.
Should I talk to the lawyer?
That is your choice. That is your right. I've read you your rights.
And then I'm officially under arrest, though, if I say that, right?
I don't think you're officially under arrest, but you are being detained
Okay. Sounds good.
during the course of this investigation.
Okay.
I can't place you under arrest because I don't know what charges you're looking at.
Right, okay.
I'm here to find 4 kids, 2 in particular.
Right, okay.
So if you wish to talk to an attorney without any further questions, that's your right. If you want to talk to me, that's your right. Free to do so.
With Sam lawyering up and refusing to give any information, the officer rushes back to check on the girls. This time, one of them tells him something so twisted that it turns the entire search mission on its head.
Hello? Okay, I've got 2 kids, 2 little girls. They said the other ones are in a red Connex. The suspect lawyered up, but he told me that he took the other girls down south somewhere where they're safe. The girls immediately told me the other 2 are in a red box, hiding or locked away.
With the conflicting information at play,
Ooh, so immediately Sam trying to play innocent is immediately thrown out the window. Add obstruction to the list of things he's guilty for now. So Sam said the other 2 little girls, yeah, they're at a friend's house. And then the girls that they found here, they're saying the other 2 are in a red box. So they caught Sam red-handed in a lie.
with the conflicting information at play, and given Sam's reputation, there's all the reason to believe the girls.
Could you tell us where the other 2 girls are?
So, approximately far away from us.
Really far away? Did you go in a car? Are you okay, sweetie? She's freezing. She's freezing.
When the doors open, it might get cold. No.
No, you just walked? They're close. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you starving?
No.
You're not hungry, but you're hungry?
I'm hungry, but I'm not starving, but I am hungry.
Okay, we're trying to round you up some food. Do you still have water left? Okay, just keep sipping on that water. We're going to try to find you a little blankie to wrap you up.
That's so cute, man. I'm sorry. I can't get over like the way that children are cute. I mean, what can I say? Like that whole over-explaining thing that they do. Like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm not starving, but I'm hungry. Like, even in this situation where her life was in danger, she's still not wanting to seem too demanding, not wanting to seem too much, I guess. Yeah.
I have this coat with a blue X on it.
You have a coat with a blue X? Okay, okay, listen to me. When your dad left you in the blue barrel, did you see where he put the other girls?
Yeah.
Where?
He walked all the way to the white box that's fairly far away, and he put his girls there.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had the fuck's fairly far away.
Is your dad Samuel?
Yeah.
That's your dad? Okay. Okay, I'm going to close the door so you can keep warming up.
Presuming that the red box may not be as far away, authorities set out on foot to look for it.
They told me a red box.
Oh man, it sucks that it's so late in the night too. It's pretty late in the day, so there's no sunlight anymore. So it's gonna be even more difficult to locate the red box because you can't see shit. You can't see colors right now.
Girls specifically said a red box, and they walked there. They did not drive a car, but they said very far away.
They said very far away.
But you're talking a little teeny 4-year-old. So if there's any way we can start searching, maybe over by those trees, I don't even know.
By this time, 2 helicopters, an ambulance, and 20 law enforcement officers are desperately looking for the girls. And the one man who knows exactly where they are isn't willing to talk without a deal, even if their lives are at stake. However, his statement alone isn't enough to invoke his right to silence, and so law enforcement can continue questioning him. Livid with Sam, some of the officers are unable to hide their frustration.
I'm telling you, I'm not sworn. I'll take it up in the helicopter and throw it out. We'll just dangle him until he tells us where the hell they are.
We got the ambulance coming out right now.
Yeah.
These 2 girls are froze half to death. We gave them some water. We're just here to make sure, and we're going to make sure these girls are healthy.
Okay, good.
right here on scene. We got an ambulance on its way out. Right
Okay,
now.
good.
We're looking through all these Connex boxes here for the other 2 girls because it is freezing out here.
Yeah, no, they're not here. They're under a blanket in a trailer. But
in a trailer that doesn't get any heat, Sam's gonna be cold.
Yeah. I do want them to get out of there.
Why is he so calm? We just found out that was his daughter. Like, that was one of the kids that they found. What is this guy's daughter? Why there's no urgency in his voice?
Is that something you're willing to take us to so we can get them out of there?
I've heard some. Oh, don't get me wrong. John told me never to say this to a cop, but I've heard some horror stories about CPS and stuff. I just wanted to go basically in a car straight to her mother.
I don't think he's guilty. I did start to have that thought right now because of what he said right here. Look, John told me about like, he does reference John in a way that's like he's following his lead. Like, he's letting John dictate his decisions. So he could be a victim of John. Not that excuses him, but I mean, yeah, that is something worth noting.
Yeah, I feel terrible about that. I don't want that to be in the charges or something. I was so scared.
Yeah.
You know, what I was gonna say is, basically, I'd want them to go straight back to Micah, and then I'd agree with
Mike, and I don't.
That's their mother. Their mother.
And
Yeah.
I believe she's on her way down. So is the other 2 children? Are they close by here then?
Yeah.
They are
pretty
close by here.
Decently close.
You walked to it.
Yeah. We walked through last night. I had to carry my daughter. We were in a bad way last night too, and
it was freezing last night. And the wind was blowing 100 miles an hour.
My friend said I could always come over anytime I wanted, so I knew I had an open invitation, but he wasn't there, so we couldn't get in the main house. So we went into his trailer, his like side trailer or whatever. And I was hoping there was food in there, and there wasn't. It was like stale ramen. And so we're all really hungry. I got them water, but they're hungry, and they're under a blanket.
So where are they at?
Will you give them straight to Micah?
That's the plan.
Is there a way to get a guarantee?
For the first time since the officers found Sam that evening, they seem to have found a way to get him to talk. Given the horrendous state in which they'd rescued the other 2 girls, it was truly a race against time to quickly find those poor children trapped in the red box before it was too late.
I'm Mark Gower. I'm the sheriff of the county.
Yeah.
What are you looking for from us?
Okay, so basically, I want what's best for the girls, but because of my views of CPS and things like that, I really want them to go.
I have the same views you do.
I'd rather them go straight back into the custody of Micah, their mother.
That's what's going to happen. I guarantee it. I swear on my life.
Okay,
so will you tell us where they're at?
Yeah, they're in the Burl area. It's not in my friend's name. The land is. It's in some girl's name, but it's. I can show you right where it's at. His name. It's in the back trailer.
Okay, so he just revealed the location of where they were in exchange for the children to go directly back to the mother.
After what seemed like an eternity, Sam disclosed the whereabouts of the trailer where the other 2 girls were left. The officers discovered the pair in an abandoned single-wide mobile trailer. The place appeared to have been used for storage. Both girls, John's 8-year-old and Sam's 5-year-old, were discovered freezing, famished, and severely dehydrated. While all 4 girls were now safe, they'd been exposed to hours of sub-freezing temperatures and starvation.
They were all found, chat. They were all found. Let's go.
You want to see your dad? Okay. You want your mommy? Okay. Are you guys thirsty?
What's your name, sweetie?
Elizabeth Richardson.
This isn't the girl's real name. But why would such a young child lie about their name? The answer...
Ooh, the child themselves lied about their name. Yeah, I think John manipulated all these girls.
will become shockingly apparent as the case unfolds.
Brainwashed them.
Elizabeth Richardson, that's a good name. Here we go. You guys want some water?
Sweetie.
Are you guys hungry or anything? Here, I'll open it up for you. Hey, look what I found you guys. I found a stuffed animal. Do you guys want to play with that? That's my friend Mr. Panda.
Are you feeling okay, sweetie?
We were in our
Yeah?
room.
In your room? It's really cold in there, though.
We were under.
I know we probably scared you, huh? I'm sorry. We didn't know where you're at. We've been trying to find you guys all day. We're scared because there's no adult here. We want to make sure you're okay. So, and that trailer was locked, and so we couldn't get in. So we had to climb through the window. That's pretty wild, huh? Hey, you guys want to see something cool? Check these out. Oh, these are really cool. If they work. Oh, come on. See that? It's called a glow stick. Super cool, huh? If they work. Oh, come on. There they go. Do you guys want a piece of pizza? We have some pizza. Do you like pizza? Okay, we'll get you guys some pizza, okay? Huh? You want a piece of pizza?
I do think it's very wholesome whenever officers go out of their way to comfort children, to comfort victims. You can hear that they're doing their best.
Once the medics assessed the girls, they were immediately rushed to the hospital for hypothermia treatment. One of Sam's daughters even had to be transported to a children's hospital via life flight due to her critical condition. Now it was finally time to question Sam Schaefer and get to the bottom of this unbelievable case. As shocking as everything was that had already happened, the true horror of what occurred on that compound has yet to be revealed. What may at first seem to be a disturbing parental dispute over custody would soon reveal itself to be one of the worst cases Utah has ever uncovered. Investigators will be horrified to find out that the cult John started was actually far more sickening than anyone could have ever imagined. You see, there's a twisted reason the girls were hidden.
Oh God, I can't even imagine like what the reason is behind hiding the girls in barrels. That's weird. Also, Jesus Christ, this is Sam? This is the first time we see Sam in actual good lighting. He looks terrifying. Ew.
Mike was threatening him, I guess, that she's going to take the kids, never let them see them, that she's going to change every agreement they've ever had about just, you name it.
Skinwalker.
They're taught what they can watch. She basically went against, rebelled against everything they'd ever agreed upon. And it was, she wanted to take him, never let him see him, and raise him how she wanted. And John said, he's not going to have that. And so essentially what happened was one day John says, we're going to go leave and start a new life. And his parents agreed. I was his friend at the time. We got a hotel first, and then we thought we'd build up some money to get a place. We camped for a while, and then we got containers, and then we were going to build another place. And it was pretty archaic, but he also wanted to stay away from Micah because of what she threatened. So we were just coping with it until we got more money to get better houses. Agreed to go along with with him because by then I thought him as a religious leader, and as far as I knew, he had custody rights to do that. It's a little matter as far as I was concerned.
Sam glosses over the irony of how John took the kids from Micah in order to prevent her taking the kids from him. It's likely that Sam justified this decision in his mind because he saw John as the leader of their religion, so his authority trumped Micah's. With their timeline now established, the detectives try to find out more about the Knights of the Crystal Blade.
The Knights of the Crystal Blade. That's the name that they gave their cult. That's so cringe. Jesus Christ. That's gay as hell, bro.
The detectives try to find out more about the Knights of the Crystal Blade, an order that, according to their binder, symbolized a body of godly men.
Your guys' religion, he says it's kind of off of LDS? Or?
Yeah, it's, I think there might be a few additional things besides, obviously, the main church teaches, but it...
Yeah, somebody in chat said that sounds like some D&D type shit.
The main drive of it's additional things besides, obviously, the main church teaches, but the main drive of it's definitely LDS, yeah, for sure.
I was just kind of curious what kind of some of your beliefs were.
John started getting these interesting insights about like the Beatitudes and things that he started sharing with us, which were new but really profound, which is really what got us talking about the work and things like that. For instance, one is thank God for not just your blessings, but also for your hardships and your trials, that God's hand is in all things, and so you should want whatever he wants. You should thank him for bad things that happen. You should thank him for the bad things that happen so that you learn.
Trials in your life, right?
What's that?
Like your trials in your life.
Right. You should thank him for those too, because it teaches you something. He wants you to make a bad situation turn better, things like that. There's also one we believe that most will see God as this high, mighty person looks down on us, whereas John, or somehow, that God actually looks at us very humbly. He knows that if he was in our circumstances, he makes many of the same mistakes, and he looks on us from like a parent, knowing what you're going through.
How do you believe, or what do you think about the polygamy part?
Polygamy? Dude, these losers, John specifically, they always allow themselves to be the ones that can hold multiple partners. Do they think they can pull multiple women? I really doubt it.
Or what do you think about the polygamy part? The FLDS, is that something you...
We believe in the Old Testament. I don't think there's anything inherently morally wrong with it. But that's probably saying, maybe I should have a lawyer or something. Polygamy is actually not ideal. It's usually done if women need a husband. Like, I don't think it should be like all these guys in the fundamentals community, all just trying to grab as many wives as they can. For one thing, that's not sustainable from a demographics point of view. Right. So I think when there's a woman that needs a husband, then I don't care if I'm the lawyer.
Who all was involved? Who all was with you? It was you and John, and who else?
Me and John and Kathy and Sam.
Where's John himself? I want him questioned.
Describe that relationship. What do you mean by they were with you and the girls were with who?
Our job, and supporting John, was to be the servant.
Okay.
Basically be a servant to him.
Okay.
The boys were John's boys.
Okay.
So we took the boys and we took care of them and did everything for them and fed them and so forth. We bought all of our food as a group together and stuff, though. And a lot of that food was bought through, they call them food stamps. Sam was on food stamps. He had his two kids. He had custody of them.
Keith seems to have no problem admitting that his job in the cult was to be a servant to John. demonstrating the level of power that John has over his father.
That's crazy. John manipulated his parents. How evil do you have to be to try and manipulate your parents? Like, forget the fact that he succeeded. Just the fact that you're even trying to do that to your parents. It's weird. Like, to try and indoctrinate them into your cult.
It's possible that it's easier for Keith to believe John is a prophet receiving revelations about the apocalypse, rather than accept the alternative that he's just using his parents for money.
What was the long-term goal for this new order?
That we would go to the desert and the Lord would tell us where to go, and then things would start coming down around us and we'd be away from all the destruction and everything. And eventually we'd go to the Rocky Mountains and then walk to Altamont and all that stuff. And it's like over a long period of time.
Was the intent to get off the grid?
The intent was to save our lives.
Well, I understand that, but you mentioned something about being off the grid.
Well, yeah, that's what we tried to do. I mean, he bought those solar things so that he could have the internet.
Catherine admits that although she was told they had to get off the grid to protect themselves from the apocalypse, John actually continued to use the internet on the compound. This is the detective's first hint that there might be a deeper, darker reason that John brought everyone to the middle of the desert.
Ooh. Okay, if he wants to bring everybody to the desert, I think there was gonna be, at some point, sacrifices that were gonna be made. I think he was gonna try and offer up like human sacrifices by killing somebody. I don't know.
While everything they had learned about the cult so far had been shocking and appalling, nothing could have prepared them for the stomach-churning truth they were getting closer and closer to uncovering.
Tell me about John's parents, real quick.
They listened to John's revelations and different inspiration he had, and they felt a good spirit about it, and they decided that they agreed with their son, they wanted to help him, and they didn't like Micah, of course, and I think it just kind of went from there. It just kind of came along, I guess you could say.
So how did they end up with the boys?
Really out of control, and John couldn't take care of the girls and him at the same time, like he'll just do. He's uncontrollable.
What do you mean?
I'm sure John can tell you all the horror stories unless he doesn't want to, but one time he poured like water down light sockets, he's poured oil on the bed, he's rowdy, he says random stuff, he's uncontrollable.
So he left the two boys with his parents?
Yeah, because it was kind of evened out everything, made it so that things were quieter, I guess, for him.
Sam is insistent that John's son is completely uncontrollable, which is why he was sent off to be taken care of by John's parents, while John and Sam focused on raising the girls. This is not the true reason, and the truth is more horrifying than you can imagine.
Damn, Sam lied again? Who would have thought?
As well, it's important to note that the child may have been acting out as a result of his turbulent home environment.
So what was kind of the sleeping arrangements out there? Like, there was a tent or something, is that what you were saying? Or?
A tent?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean out in Sand Pit?
Yeah.
No, that was just a temporary thing for the fun of it. The other night it was really clear, so I put it up. But most of the time we're in the containers.
Who's in what containers?
Is that?
Are you containers?
Oh, yeah. Definitely I need a lawyer for it, you think?
That's totally up to you. If you don't want to answer that question, you don't have to. I'm just kind of curious.
Though Sam has mentioned getting a lawyer, he hasn't unequivocally stated that he wants one, which means that the interrogation can continue. In order to invoke your right to an attorney, you must clearly state that you want one present.
I noticed there was the one in the middle, thinking that might be yours.
Oh, you mean the big long one?
Trying to remember. Yeah, the longer one. The one in the middle that runs. And then you have two on the sides.
Yeah.
That one's yours?
The one besides mine. The long one's John's.
And you've only been out there since September, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So not too long, have you?
No, but we were planning on building that place and we got some money together, so.
Where did the girls stay and the boys out there?
I'd probably let the lawyer talk about that.
What haven't we talked about? But say, get your side of things, and you've been pretty cooperative, I think, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
With Sam's reluctance to answer this question without a lawyer, it becomes undeniable that there's something the detectives aren't being told, and it's only a matter of time until they find out what it is. It was a very smart move by the officer to ask if there's anything they haven't talked about, since it skirts the issue of the touchy question while still getting Sam to talk to them and give them information.
What caused you to take off yesterday, then?
Well, I still thought he had custody, and he asked me to keep him.
You just mentioned that you said that that he asked you to
make sure that they no one took him and that I kept him.
Did you get word or something that somebody was looking for him or something?
Well, the weird thing was, first John was arrested, I didn't know why. Then the cops showed up at our place, and I decided to go with the kids because John asked me to, but I didn't know why on that either. And then I wanted to come back not only to find out what was really happening, but also to help the other two girls that I felt I couldn't help because I thought someone was following me. But let me put it this way. I knew I had to come back to help them if they needed help. I thought they'd been gone. I thought had been picked up by the police. I didn't think there was a problem, but I want to make sure I couldn't live with myself if something happened to him. So I started running back for that, number one. Number two, I just want to know what the heck's going on. Why are the cops involved? I didn't know. And when I was taken in today, he says, he's told me John doesn't have any legal custody, and I said, it was the first time I've heard of it.
Just like with Keith and Catherine, Sam is insistent that they couldn't have done anything wrong by taking and hiding the girls, because as far as he was concerned, John had full custody of them. He also conveniently leaves out an important detail about John's arrest at the Coltharp's home.
So when they left on Friday, it was John and Sam and who that left?
When they left Saturday?
Yeah, well, when they left Friday, you said they went to your old place?
Oh, they took the girls with them.
So all 4 girls were with them when they left?
All 4 girls were with them in the
Suburban?
Suburban.
However, Police Chief Clark Christensen was told by John that the girls weren't with him, and he refused to say where they were. Not only did Sam purposefully deceive the police when he hid from Clark during John's arrest, but he's continuing to be deceitful in his interview by not mentioning that he and John had the girls with them.
So even to this moment, he's continuing to obstruct the investigation.
So where were the girls at that you were going back to help with?
The ones in the blue barrel.
Tell me about that. What happened there?
I didn't know where to go or what to do at first. So I thought, I'm just going to keep the girls warm. So I wrapped them in the foam and put them in the bucket. And I was going to come back for them maybe 10 minutes later. I didn't know where I was going. But then when I started taking the other 2 girls first, every time I looked behind me, I saw this dark figure. I was going to come right back from him, but someone kept following me. Maybe it was paranoia or what, the tense situation. But I could have swore that I was being followed for a good few
What
miles.
did you tell those girls to do?
I just said to be quiet and let's walk, basically.
No, you're the other 2.
Oh, yeah, I just said be quiet and I'll come back. And then I felt horrible when it took all the way till morning to get the other girls in a blanket, given water, just the basics. I was way over my head.
Okay, he's the one that owns that property?
Yeah.
So he wasn't there, or was he there?
No, he wasn't there, and that was an issue. If he was there, they would have had fire, good food, everything.
Yeah, he doesn't sound well. Yeah, somebody said in chat, like, bro, this story's actually insane. Like, these people have no business being around children. It sounds so paranoid, so strange.
By then, it was already afternoon, and the other 2 girls were stuck in a barrel. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I was so scared. I feared they'd been found. But just in case they hadn't been, I was really scared for them, so I started booking it back. And that's when I got picked up.
It certainly is odd that despite being too nervous to even describe the sleeping arrangements at the compound, Sam is more than happy to casually talk about stuffing 2 girls into barrels.
Yeah, dude, see? Even Iwu pointed it out. It's weird that he's so casual when it comes to the subject of actually talking about the girls being stuck in barrels with foam around them to keep them quote-unquote warm. It's so strange. Like,
Sam is more than happy to casually talk about stuffing 2 girls into barrels, one of which was his own daughter. He shows zero empathy for what it must have been like for the girls to be trapped in such a small space for so long, with no food or access to a bathroom.
What made you decide to leave those 2 in the barrels?
They go good together, I guess.
They're good friends?
Yeah, they're good friends, yeah.
Sam takes a long pause before answering the question, making it clear that he doesn't want to respond. It seems he may be hiding the true reason that those 2 were selected to be put into the barrels.
So you understand, your oldest daughter, what's her name? She's just not doing too good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they ended up having to carry her in the hospital. She's just real weak, and
Yeah.
a lot of them aren't doing very good, being out in the cold like that.
Yeah.
You understand the severity of that?
Yeah, I do. I only did it because I thought it was a serious situation, but it went way over my head, and I accepted
Yeah,
the
understand what could happen if something happened to them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd be held for manslaughter probably or something, right?
Yeah, it'd be pretty bad.
I would feel terrible about it. I'd accept responsibility for it. If that happened, I'm totally open on that topic. I went way over my head. I know I did.
Sam's reaction to finding out one of his children had to be hospitalized comes across as callous. He appears to be unconcerned and doesn't even ask any follow-up questions regarding her well-being. While this might be the detective's first time encountering this colder side of Sam, Keith and Catherine have become very familiar with it.
And then a week before that, they very suddenly made a statement that anybody that left would be killed.
Did they
In fact,
follow that up with a threat other than be killed? Or tell you how you'd be
well,
killed?
they basically did. In fact, one day, it's U-shaped out there. I don't know if you've seen it. We have a little kind of courtyard there. So the kids are supposed to stay in that courtyard, and if a helicopter or somebody came over, they were supposed to run inside the trailers. One day, one of the kids, I stepped out of that corridor area, which was okay, but one of the boys followed me, and Sam blew up, and he mentioned something about killing us, or killing me. Yeah, if I caused them to find something out.
So how long ago was that?
2 weeks ago.
While it's likely that John manipulated his parents and exploited them for money, It's important to keep in mind that Keith and his wife are adults. They also had a responsibility to keep their grandchildren safe.
Exactly. See, that's what I said. At the end of the day, these are all adults. These two people and then also Sam, they are all grown adults. You can keep crying and claiming that you were manipulated by your son. You can't be taking orders mindlessly.
They also had a responsibility to keep their grandchildren safe. And instead, they appear to have ignored major warning signs about John. In fact, throughout his interview, Keith appears to be more concerned with his current financial situation rather than the safety of any of his grandchildren. Between the death threats, the living conditions, and the brainwashing, it's clear that life on John's compound was a nightmare. But unfortunately, the cult had an even deeper secret, one that Micah finally warns the detectives about.
Like, I'm glad you going back there, and he turns around and goes, are you glad to not be Sam's wife anymore? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they got married. I'm like, they got married? I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, well, they sleep together. And I said, how did they sleep? And he said, did they call them their wives? He goes, yeah, he called them their wives and they kissed them. And I said, where? He goes, on the lips.
The little boys that weren't locked in the barrels, they told her what was going on basically. John and Sam would sleep together, the two men, but then also John was calling the little girls his wives and kissing them on the lips.
With this dark revelation, several missing pieces of the puzzle finally slot into place. It explains why Sam was nervous to talk about the sleeping arrangements on the compound. It's common for predators to choose a victim who either already is isolated or one who can be easily isolated, such as Sam and John separating the older girls from the other children. The goal of a predator is to minimize their risk of getting caught. This information also answers many questions about John and Micah's relationship. Their disturbing age gap is now clearly evidence that John has a history of pursuing minors.
True, very true.
Additionally, it's also common for predators to have antisocial personality disorder, particularly since it often takes an extreme lack of empathy, failure to abide by lawful behavior, impulsivity, aggressiveness, and lack of remorse. With this new disturbing information in mind, the detectives try to find out just how far his and John's marriage with the children went.
Marriage with the children. Ew, dude. I don't even think it's just antisocial personality disorder. No. Any of these disgusting people that start cults, narcissism has to be a play. Narcissistic personality disorder. 1,000%. I would bet money on it.
John and Sam made this agreement to betroth each other's daughter to them for when they're older and they're of consenting age, that they would actually consummate a marriage with them.
When did they do that?
They did it before we even left, and Keith and I said, no, sorry, that's not right. And they said, okay, Mom, we got this revelation that this is to happen. It's what they did in the scriptures, but the Lord will take our lives if we consummate the marriage before they're of consenting age. And I said, when is that? And they said, about 10 years from now. And I thought, okay, they'll be 18. Sam and Don were so strict about everything. I mean, they really believed this religion that I didn't worry. And I said, okay, so what happens? Are you just promising when you're older you'll get together or what? And they said, they'll live with our family and we'll be like a father to them until that age. And I said, okay. Basically, everywhere we went, Sam had in the tent and John had his daughter in the tent and became a mother. I mean, everything looked right. They were happy. I didn't see anything wrong. And I believed John. I mean, I honestly, if Keith or I would have thought that they were going to do something to those girls, we told them we would shoot them ourselves. But we believed that they believed so strongly in this that they would not do anything to these girls. And so I look back on that now and I think, especially after Sam taking off with the girl.
No, yeah, these people also failed the little girls. How did you not catch the flags? Like, there was hella warning signs, dude.
We weren't comfortable with it, but we accepted it because of all these revelations John was giving. And by then, we were in so deep financially. We said, how are we going to afford the payments on this? And he says, well, the grid's going to fall down. You make them till it goes down. And we thought, oh, you know, we weren't comfortable with it, but we thought, okay, well, he's in charge.
While Catherine is insistent that she and Keith would have shot John and Sam if anything happened to the girls, if she had truly believed nothing was going to happen, then she wouldn't have felt the need to make the threat in the first place.
When they betrothed each other's daughters, did they actually have a ceremony? And
not with us around. I think they did probably on their own where they knelt and prayed or something like that, but we weren't.
As far as you know, they had actually married, or you didn't know that?
No, just, see, that's what I kept asking John, what's the difference if you're married, you consummate a marriage, and you're not going to consummate it and ask the girl's permission until they're 18? And he said, that's right, but it's like in the Old Testament where you give your daughter and then, you know, they live in your household and stuff. And so
it's like a pledge.
It's a pledge. But the girls started calling themselves wives in the camp, and that really bothered me.
Ew. The girls started calling themselves wives. I mean, dude, yeah, I mean, that's just indoctrination 101. Indoctrination and brainwashing.
You see, John's oldest daughter, then 8 years old, started referring to herself as Sam's wife, while Sam's daughter, then 7 years old, said she was John's wife.
Oh, yeah, and then that was the other thing that the mom just said right there. You know, part of marriage is the father walking down her daughter to the man she's about to marry. So basically, they were using that logic with these little girls, which is disgusting. So Sam handed his 7-year-old daughter to John, and then John handed his 8-year-old daughter to Sam.
But as horrifying as this is, it's only the beginning of the shocking revelations.
I still believed John. The girls were happy. I didn't see any signs of anything wrong. We never viewed anything inappropriate.
Speaking of that, did you ever see them being affectionate with each other?
Everybody was affectionate. We were like a family, so nothing more than usual we'd all tell each other, I love you, and stuff, but nothing that would make me think that there was anything. I mean, the girls, I've been around girls that have been.
Right. Have you ever seen with Sam and think that, as a grandmother, as a woman,
yeah,
and think something is just not right? Maybe it's questioning that, maybe they're not having, but what they're doing is just not right.
Yeah.
What did you see?
Just him oohing over her.
Like how?
Just spending a lot of time with her, and we brought it up to John and Sam and said, this is not going to happen. And they got a revelation saying it was inappropriate, so they stopped. In the camp, you have to understand that we were trying to be a Zion people and love each other and stuff, so we never thought it out of place. I mean, they never got intimate or affectionate or anything like that.
You never seen, yes, Sam?
Oh, no.
You never seen him touch her or she touched him?
I've seen there was touching like on the shoulder or something, and we would kneel to pray, and they held hands.
Yeah, the kids were saying all of this stuff. They weren't keeping it a secret. The grandma right here literally said that the daughter told her that. The daughters were calling themselves wives. So once again, these people are just as guilty in my opinion.
Catherine is giving inconsistent statements. She may be purposefully withholding information to avoid getting in trouble. As we saw earlier, Catherine was very concerned about getting arrested, so she's evidently worried about any repercussions she might face. It's also possible that while she did notice that things with John, Sam, and the girl seemed wrong, she pushed those concerns away because it was easier to take the path of least resistance. It was likely very difficult for her to believe that her son would hurt a child, so she simply chose to believe that he wasn't. Her inconsistent statements in the interview may be a reflection of her own doubts. Unfortunately, if Catherine saw Sam doing something disturbing and abhorrent with his so-called wife, then it's likely that John was being just as reprehensible with his.
They made an agreement that they would give their daughters to them so that when they reached the age of consent, they could marry them.
Ew, so they were handing their children to each other to basically groom them until they were of age to marry.
Notice how when Keith talks about the marriage arrangement and the age of consent, he places a lot of distance between himself and the officers by sitting and leaning into the corner as he talks. It's almost as if he's trying to distance himself from the topic because he knows deep down how bad this arrangement really is and how the officers may be viewing him.
And I'm referring to when you were out here at your compound in Lund.
We had Kathy and I had a tent, and the boys and Kathy and I were in one tent. The boys slept in their beds together with their sleeping bags, and Kathy and I used our mattress. We bought our mattress from us.
In the tents or in the comic shed?
Put them in the sheds too. We bought them everywhere we went. We brought all that stuff along. We had to take 2 trips, so usually we slept with John's tent, in John's tent.
Just the 3 of them?
Let's see, did he have the person that was promised to him by Sam? Just the 2 of them.
Yeah, bro really said that puberty might be the age of consent. Like, motherfucker, people go through puberty at 14 or 13 years old.
There would be no problem.
Right, and I don't know.
We had no reason to mistrust it. We did.
But the beginning being what? What time, what month, what time, what year?
We found out that they had made that commitment. It would have been in July.
You told me that you very much understood that there was going to be no going on between them or anything like
they
that.
Made that
future plan,
commitment
right?
to us that there would be nothing going on that would be wrong.
Right. And just like the other promise, did you see something that was inappropriate ever that made you feel like, wait a minute, I'm not dumb?
We never went into the tents. We never went into the facilities that they were staying in. We knew that the girls had their own bed in there, and he had his bed. And there was never any indication from the girls. They were happy. The kids were having fun together. They thought this was a great adventure. And so we thought that everything was on the up and up, that John wasn't doing anything wrong and Sam wasn't doing anything wrong. They were keeping their commitment to wait until these girls become the age of consent, before they would consummate the marriage. And that's the way we left it.
His argument is like, oh, well, they said they were going to wait until the legal age of consent to marry them. Like, what do you think is happening in the meantime, in between? Because they're 8 years old. So you're telling me that in 10 years, nothing bad was going to be happening? Are you kidding me? What do you think is going to happen with a 35 or 40-year-old man taking a kid at 8 years old, a girl at 8 years old, and waiting for her to be of age? Like, what do you think is happening in that gap, in that 10-year gap? Do you really think that these men are not going to be doing nastier things in the meantime?
Keith justifies his lack of action by saying that the girls were happy and made no indication that they were being.
Yeah, I see somebody in chat said that's like expecting a wolf to wait for a lamb to grow up to eat them. That's a really good analogy. Yeah.
Additionally, these girls have been extensively brainwashed by John and Sam and have been isolated from society. With these factors in mind, making any conclusions about their behaviors is not a good way of determining whether or not they're being.
Your grandfather, these are your grandkids, right? As a man, is any of that inappropriate? For what was going on, is that inappropriate? I know you have a religious belief, but let's set that aside for 1 second and think as a grandpa and knowing that your granddaughter is in a tent with Sam, who you already don't trust. Do you think anything ever happened that was inappropriate?
I had no reason to mistrust him at the time.
Well, now that you look back.
Now that I look back, you know, I mean, the whole thing is just really.
Were they ever more touchy-feely than a normal situation? I mean, yeah, she's promised to him in the future, but in the interim now, was there any cuddling, kissing, touching, sitting on his lap, anything?
Yeah, it was that kind of stuff around the campfires. We'd be sitting in his lap or sit in the chair.
Acting like they were already husband and wife?
Even though to a degree, you could say that. Yeah.
Well, so when I refer to inappropriate.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, if they're promised to be their wives, they already feel entitled to the little girls. So there's obviously going to be some weird, disgusting behavior going on in the meantime, even though they're still little girls.
I want to know from your point of view as a grandpa, as a male, and that being your granddaughter, did you ever see something that just didn't sit right?
Yeah, I guess I did see it.
Did they kiss?
I saw Sam all the time.
Like how?
Oh, no.
She would be sitting on his lap or
Oh,
sitting next to him. They'd bring dinner over with
no.
And she'd kiss him or he'd kiss her. And just a peck.
Yeah, so Sam would kiss them on the lips. Ew.
There was no embracing kind of thing like that.
But
here again, you know, we've known these kids since they were born. And if I thought there was something wrong with Sam, I would think she would have said something. Everything seemed to be okay, so we assumed they were keeping their commitment.
You know when somebody's pure to their convictions, like a religion or just your normal way of life, you don't see it any other way.
Yeah.
Right? If she doesn't think that's inappropriate, she's not going to know enough to tell you that it is. You committed to John. You're going to support him. You're going to be his father. You are. He was born.
Well, and you know, we agree with the religious beliefs when you look at the scriptures and stuff. But you find marriages like kings had marriages of girls 5 and 6 years old, and teenagers. I mean, Mary is. The mother of Jesus was 13, so, you know.
And that's why I said I'm not here to judge or to argue any of that.
And so we never had a problem with that principle. The problem we had was girls were 8 and 7 years old, and we made sure that they made a commitment to us that there was going to be nothing going on untoward.
Right.
And we accepted that. The girls seemed to be happy. We didn't see anything.
I know the times that I went in to check on the girls, they slept in the bed together. So I don't know. We just never believed that they were in danger. Period.
You didn't believe that because you trusted these guys?
Mm-hmm.
If Sam and John were both willing to kill anyone who left the compound, is it really so hard to believe that they would be willing to hurt a child?
Now, maybe your own son you know better, but do you really think that Sam is the person you thought he was?
Probably not.
I told you about how the girls were found, right?
Yeah.
You said it was really cold last night. A big dust storm.
Mm-hmm.
2 little girls stayed in a barrel out in the field overnight for 24 hours by themselves.
In a barrel? Okay.
In a plastic barrel.
Okay. And
that was at the hands of Sam.
Yeah.
So this guy isn't probably who you thought he was.
Of course
because you didn't think he would hurt them.
No. And my son, John, would not have condoned that.
I don't think so either. I don't know that any father would with their own daughter, right? But I'll tell you that.
Because John wasn't there, I think Sam got scared and he just...
At the expense of
I
their
think
lives.
he felt he was doing John a favor by protecting the girls.
Protecting what girls, though? Because he left one of his and your granddaughter in the barrel.
Yeah.
And took the other 2 with him.
I have no idea because I never dreamed that Sam would do that. He was second after John in this order to take care of everything. And then we find ourselves left this morning, and the granddaughters are gone, his daughters are gone.
So why didn't you report it first thing when you noticed it? You said that. You said Keith told you when you called the authorities.
Yeah, she's acting very weird. She's trying really hard to shift accountability around. Even more than the grandpa, I'd say. The grandpa is still guilty, but this grandma right here, she is desperately trying to get out of any trouble. I don't like how defensive she is.
Catherine's reply of okay when she's informed that 2 of the girls have been left in a barrel all night is a huge red flag. When someone's being interrogated and they fail to show an appropriate level of concern for the situation, detectives interpret this behavior as a possible indication of deception. Catherine doesn't even seem surprised when she's told. In fact, she doesn't even ask if the children are okay. She then goes on to defend Sam's actions by saying he was just trying to do what John would have wanted. Her complete lack of care and empathy is truly appalling. Having learned what they could from Keith and Catherine, it was time for detectives to confront Sam. And things soon take a turn for the even more horrifying.
You know, I've been hearing some really off-the-wall stuff, you know, as far as some things that's been going on. You know, that's one reason why I wanted to get your side of the story.
Yeah, of course.
Just things for my kid, things that, I mean, they're way out there, I think.
Oh, well, my
Are they going to confront Sam directly about the physical interactions with the girl?
not a reliable source, but talks about way above and beyond anything we believe.
Though Sam says Micah isn't a reliable source, she's actually named in the Knights of the Crystal Blade binder. One excerpt reads, "The only financial power thy enemies have in these times to hurt this work is by putting thy family in a situation that would prompt Micah Ariel Coltharp to rebel against thee."
I mean, like, we did stuff like being pregnant and stuff like that. And
How could you be pregnant? She's only 8.
well, right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, they're way out there.
No,
I mean,
that's ridiculous.
is there stuff there that, I mean, why would she say stuff like that? What?
I don't know to what degree. I should have a lawyer, but that's way off in left field. Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to give me your side of things.
Well, I also don't know to what degree thinks about certain things or to what degree exactly the line is or whatever. It's way over here, though. It's not what she's saying.
What about, have you been betrothed to anybody? Do you believe in that?
Would you say I need a lawyer to say yes?
No, I mean, it's not against the law.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if that was something.
It's way more on that side of it than what my guy.
Once again, Sam mentions a lawyer, but he doesn't unequivocally request one. And so the interrogation continues.
Is there things going on between that maybe John's doing that Mike is thinking maybe you're involved just because John's doing it? Or is John doing stuff with the kids that they're concerned?
I don't think anything like that. Okay, so we do believe in betrothal. The whole ancient world does. Arabs to this day.
The fuck is that? Betrothal? Formal engagement to be married.
I'd say that when you get betrothed to somebody, I'll just say this, that you should start to be the one that's a spiritual teacher that takes care of them so that they look up to you, that they start to be attached to. I think that's true with any community.
Now that he knows the police are aware he was betrothed to an 8-year-old, Sam is starting to scramble for an explanation.
They're giving exams, that there's going to be any sign of anything?
I don't think so. One thing is, just from a medical standpoint, not doing anything down there, but you do check them when you make any kind of agreement, even in the Old Testament. I don't know why she does not have a hymen, but it's either genetic or...
What? Did y'all just hear what he said? First of all, already red flag. They checked down there. That's already weird. Now he's saying, I don't know why she doesn't have a hymen. So she's not a virgin. Oh my God.
When we very first made the agreement...
Bullshit. I'm not trusting this guy. He's lied multiple times throughout this case, throughout this investigation. Nice try, Epstein.
When we very first made the agreement and we checked her, she didn't have one for some reason.
Who did that? Like a doctor's office?
No, I did it.
They did it?
Just because she's my daughter and I.
Ew, and he did it himself, fucking creep. Like, the officer asked what most normal people would ask. Like, oh, like, did you take him to a doctor to do that? Like, no, I checked myself down there. That's disgusting.
I wasn't doing anything down there. I don't know if you have to be a doctor, do that legally or not, and hopefully I didn't just confess to something, but it was just for the reason of checking.
How did you know about? Not most guys know what a hymen is.
Yeah, that's so bullshit. Most guys don't even know what a hymen is. I mean, a lot of you guys in chat are confused. Like, what the fuck is a hymen? But, like, also, what would you even look for in there? Like, digging... Oh, ew. I don't even want to think about this disgusting man putting his dirty fingers anywhere near me.
Not most guys know what a hymen is.
I never seen one before I checked my girls, but I looked up online, and so I could tell what it was.
Did you catch that? It may have been a slip of the tongue, but Sam said my girls, insinuating that he checked both girls. Not only...
no. So he gave the game away, and one of his arguments was, oh, I only did this examination on my daughter because she's my daughter. Obviously, duh. Like, that's why I did it. It's my daughter. But because he said girls, as in plural, that means he checked the other girl, which wasn't his daughter.
Insinuating that he checked both girls. Not only is this horrific for a 7-year-old to go through, but his other daughter is only 4 years old.
I just did my research. It's pretty close up. It's fleshy. You could
Only 4, bro.
John's perverted obsession with purity is further elaborated in the Knights of the Crystal Blade Binder, where he states, if these laws of purity and purification are obeyed by he who takes her, and she endureth, she shall be appointed unto him by my servant. Moreover, the document is filled with definitions of defiled women and how they can be cleansed by their husbands. His casual discussion with the detective of how he looked for images of hymens online in order to evaluate his daughter shows that he feels this is all okay and normal. There are also some signs of possible deception throughout his answer, as when he's asked if there would be any sign of on the girls, Samuel responds with, I don't think so. This is an example of a qualification phrase often used by deceptive individuals. This type of non-committal response allows the person to later change their answer if needed. For instance, if signs of on the girls are discovered, Sam can then claim that he just didn't know. Additionally, notice how when talking about examining his daughter, he first says, you do check them, in order to put some distance between himself and the behavior before swapping to, we check them, in order to share the blame with John. He finally admits that he was the one who checked his daughter after being directly asked, and he doesn't appear to recognize how inappropriate his behavior was, instead attempting to justify it.
Well, it says right in the Old Testament you have to. It's a religious thing.
This is what John wrote in the binder about it. The marriage of a maiden is most pleasing unto me, as I delight in chastity, and it will become the only form of marriage in the millennium when my people are redeemed. Then it is also expedient that I reveal unto thee the preciousness of virginity also.
And then the guy can say, I don't want to go through that, or I do, or...
So you're checking to see if there was one, if she had a hymen before she went this betrothal.
Right, because then you could say, oh, well, maybe she's not a virgin, so I don't want her. John still wanted to do the agreement, so...
How does that work? I'm curious.
So basically what you do is, if you say, I'm interested in someone's daughter, then you go to the father, and you make an agreement that is what the wife price will be, or if there will be one or not. Check the hymen, make sure there is one or not, and then see if you still want to go through with it.
He knows that the authorities are going to check his daughter for signs of it, and he may believe that by claiming she never had a hymen in the first place, then he may be protecting John from allegations.
Did you check to make sure he was being honest about it, or?
That's probably something I'd ask some lawyer about, right?
That's up to you. I was just curious how that works. I mean, how do you trust? I mean, I know you.
Yeah, I trust the word of somebody else.
You trust John, but how do you know that he
told me the truth?
Told you the truth about her hymen.
It's a good question. Yeah. In my mind, our relationship was wonderful, above board.
Sam's reluctance to answer this question is a huge red flag. If the answer were no, he should have no problem saying that. However, if he did check John's daughter, he may be hesitant to admit doing so to avoid getting into trouble. Additionally, Sam uses another qualification phrase while answering the question by stating that, in his mind, his relationship with an 8-year-old child was above board. However, we already know that in his mind, things that are not acceptable are okay. So what other depraved parts of their relationship might be above board in his mind?
You got to get that out there. The first thing you got to do is admit that you did something wrong. So
I think that none of the things I did, in my opinion, are wrong.
According to Sam, he was only following his leader John's orders, who said, I reveal unto thee the preciousness of virginity also. For behold, when a righteous man takes unto himself a maiden, then their bond is made eternal by my word, and by their godly love. The detective is doing a great job here of appearing to be non-judgmental. This is providing the best opportunity for Sam to open up and reveal details that he might have kept to himself if the detective was confrontational.
But I also think there might be one or two things, also like when you came up with, I should talk to a lawyer about, because he knows exactly what the law says.
It's crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
It would be against the law.
Except for doctors.
It's different though.
I actually think doctors checking him is crossing the line. I mean, I think that the definitions are already hazy, so I want to know exactly what it says. And I think that's fair, because I really didn't cross the line according to the scriptures, or our relationship was good. I mean, I just want to know exactly what the law says. So if there is one or two things across the line, or if there isn't, because I had parental permission to do whatever, and it was just for whatever reason, I'd like to know that too.
Sam appears to think that John could legally give him permission to check his daughter's hymen, showing how in his mind he and John have all the power, and the effect this act has on the girls is completely irrelevant.
under no religion, under no law, under no even morally speaking, it's all disgusting. You take your daughter to a doctor to check anything like that down there. As the father, how are you even comfortable? Like me? Are you kidding? If I was a father, I'm not doing anything down, like that's weird. Like normal people would have that in their head, like just naturally, like you guys, like if you had your own kid, would you feel comfortable with anything having to do with like examining them down there or what? Like why? Like
he's also laughing and joking despite the severity of the topic at hand, likely sending off warning signals to the detective.
I think we're as above board as we could be. We at least looked at it from a spiritual standpoint.
So any concerns about John as far as
like doing other things?
Anything with any of the other kids?
Oh, like that weren't
appropriate, you know? Maybe?
No, I mean, not that I know of. I trust him. He had a great smile. They're perfectly fine kids, so I did not see a problem.
When asked if John may have been inappropriate with any of the children, Sam hesitates and says no before quickly changing his answer to not that I know of. Again, this should be a very easy yes or no question for him, so it doesn't make sense that he's changing his answer to one that's non-committal.
I don't know if I need a lawyer.
No, yeah, somebody in chat says, if it's for medical reasons, I'm taking them to a licensed same gender doctor. Yeah. So if it's your daughter, you take them to get inspected by a female doctor. If it's a male, then go get them checked by a male doctor, you know?
Again, this should be a very easy yes or no question for him, so it doesn't make sense that he's changing his answer to one that's non-committal.
I don't know if I need a lawyer to answer that.
Well, I just wondered if you slept in the same bed, you know? I mean, that's not against the law. As long as you're not doing something inappropriate.
Right.
Is that kind of what you guys did, or is part of the betrothal thing, or is that?
I should probably have a lawyer because I don't know the ins and outs of the law. I will say, we may put a lot of laundry together, and I'm sure something could be come up with that's not the case, if you know what I'm saying. She lived in my house, you know, we just didn't put it. Put a lot of laundry
Your
together.
DNA might be on some of her.
No, that wouldn't something could be extrapolated. If you take Micah's story and then the fact we lived together, you can pretty much know anything probably. Yeah, I think that's all I can say without a lawyer. If there's any nitty-gritty details in the law, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's your right. You don't have to answer questions if you don't want. You know, I appreciate you, like to say, talking to me. And,
we weren't afraid to give him a hug and a kiss or say goodnight or normal, simple things like that. That clearly, if the parent says it's okay, it's legal, but that's probably all I should say.
First and foremost, Sam mentioning the laundry once again reinforces the idea that he's trying to preemptively come up with excuses because he knows the police are going to find evidence of on the girls and in the storage containers. Sam also gives the detectives another red flag statement when he makes it sound as though this whole situation was legal because both fathers agreed to it. It's simply not true. If anything illegal was happening between these men and their daughters, then it would still be illegal, regardless if they gave each other permission. Chillingly, the Knights of the Crystal Blade Binder has a passage that reads, "The time is at hand, even now, when the hearts of the fathers shall begin turning unto the children, and the hearts of the children shall begin turning unto the fathers."
Oh, that sounds very disgusting and alarming. When the hearts of the fathers shall basically turn unto the girls, and then the hearts of the girls shall begin turning unto the fathers. So it's like they're announcing here in their fake Bible, the children are going to fall in love with the men, and vice versa.
how do you know when it is time to consummate your marriage?
It really doesn't specify any revelation I know about, but I do know that there's moral outlines that our society has. You know?
Right.
I figured I crossed everything, but I won't say that I wouldn't have waited until at least 18. I know some states it's like 16 if the parent agrees or something, but I don't know. You know, all the legal mumbo jumbo. But I didn't start the agreement with the intention of breaking any laws. Let's put it that way.
And I'll be straight with you. Have you ever been cleared out by Dana?
Ooh, just straight up directly asks him.
Like as in not attracted to her?
Yeah. There's, you know what I mean, but you're out.
Oh, right.
You're hesitating, bro. That's already, you're done. You're done. The fact you weren't able to immediately just say no. If you asked me that question, no. That's the easiest slam dunk ever. No. But the fact that he paused and said, well, let's think about it.
Obviously, when you look at someone you want to have a future marriage with, you think, oh, they look pretty. I don't know, is that illegal?
Sam admits here that he was attracted to an 8-year-old girl, and he seems to have no idea how wrong this is. He's only concerned about the legality of everything he and John have done to the children.
So bro just went, I thought the 8-year-old was pretty. Is that illegal? Is there a law that says that? Like, that I can't think a kid is hot?
He's only concerned about the legality of everything he and John have done to the children. Sam seems to have no empathy for how his and John's actions have traumatized the children. His failing to understand the simple questions asked regarding his attractions is an indication of deception, because he may be trying to buy himself extra time to consider what his response should be. Notice how he also reworded the questions to make it more socially acceptable to say yes. This was likely a deliberate attempt to avoid answering whether he was attracted to her or not. Telling a direct lie is very stressful, so individuals who are being deceptive will often try to evade the question.
Has any of the other kids been betrothed to anybody?
Not really. There was one idea in the future that didn't pan out.
Somebody else that kind of believes what you guys believe in?
Well, there was a guy, I don't know if he wants to be implicated by now, but he came around and he showed interest in the future. That is, like we'd make an agreement in the future. And then he decided he wasn't sure about it, so he did it,
The way Sam talks about a guy showing interest in being betrothed to his 4-year-old daughter paints a very disturbing picture. While Sam made it sound as though the marriage agreement with this man went nowhere, the grisly reality was much more different. In his interview with the FBI, this man, Robert Shane Rowe, shared that he started chatting with John on Facebook in late 2016 after being particularly interested in John's revelations. Influenced and intrigued by the nature of these revelations, Robert flew to Utah to meet with John and Sam on August 25, 2017, and spent 3 days with them. During their interaction, John informed Robert that he was the literal incarnation of John the Beloved. Apparently disappointed by what he called their crazy talk, Robert showed little interest in the church. However, the atmosphere changed drastically when both men threatened to take his life if he disclosed sensitive information to anyone.
Ooh, so John and Sam both threatened Rowe, aka the FBI agent that was undercover. They threatened to kill him if they revealed any information to people.
He further revealed how both John and Sam planned to lure their legal wives, including Micah, into the wilderness and shoot them, as they were trying to impede their access to the children. He shared that John and Sam forcefully baptized him into their church and offered a child bride, John's youngest daughter, to him. They asked him to check his bride's height to determine her purity, and according to him, forced him to spend the night with her. He swore that he never touched the child, returned to California the following morning, and never spoke with the duo again.
So checkmate. The FBI agent from years ago in a previous investigation, this was all already leaked, and they're now seeing this information again about the checking down there. That was all said before. So the fact that it's coming up again, there's no question now that they have enough evidence to lock these guys up.
While there are certain questions Sam has avoided, the detective has been able to gather crucial information about the case, much of which leads to the conclusion that John and Sam isolated their children in the middle of nowhere so that they could take advantage of them. Unfortunately, the only people who could confidently point a finger at the two men and say exactly what happened behind closed doors would be John and Sam's daughters. However, getting information from the children, as explained by one of the detectives, isn't as easy as just asking them what happened.
We have a question for you. We want to know if you possibly would consider re-interviewing the one person who's the plethora of information and willing to talk about anything, and that's you just didn't ask the right question. You know everything. But we were informed by the girl that belongs there at the Justice Center.
Mm-hmm.
She told us that probably would get thrown out re-interviewing.
I could call the prosecutor. Here's the problem that we have run into in the past. Sometimes if we conduct multiple interviews, from a defense standpoint, it makes us look like we're just continuing to ask the child question after question after question until we get the answers we're looking for. The whole purpose of what we call a FIT, it's a forensic interview technique, is to be very open with the child, and if the child's ready to talk, and we ask all the right questions, it's just a matter of are they willing to tell us at that time.
Did you ask him about himself or about his sister?
I ask him about everything I remember,
okay.
And we give them the opportunity to tell us without us leading them. And it's a good technique that helps us stay away from defense attorneys, because defense attorneys are always looking at, well, the cop, he coerced or coached the child into saying this, and so it's a scripted thing that we read to the children, but it gives them the opportunity to tell us what they know. So coming back to all this, it would be my recommendations at this point maybe that if we have to drive this, maybe give it a month. And then we could come up and re-interviewing.
Yeah, that's a good point. For those of you who weren't following, the interrogators can't just keep asking the children questions as much as you want to. If you ask them over and over, if you continue to call the children into the office to ask them questions, you run the risk of being accused by the defense attorney. Like, hey, look, these interrogators basically pushed the children into answering in a way that they wanted. So AKA their confessions cannot be valid.
Children tend to be more suggestible than adults, so detectives have to be extra careful with questioning to ensure that they aren't influencing the child. If they bring the child in for questioning a second time, it could lead the child to believe they gave the wrong answers the first time, so they need to answer differently in an attempt to please the adults. It can also be re-traumatizing to do a repeat interview. On the other hand, it's possible that a second interview with the same detective could allow the child to feel more comfortable, and therefore be more willing to open up, as they have already built up some rapport. The detectives also have some words of advice in case the children decide to open up to their mother.
You just be a listener. Make sure she's seeing a counselor, somebody that she can divulge this information to, then we can use that as evidence. Okay, if it's something that you talk to her about and extract from her, then, give her more details than she would already be subjected to, then it's going to be hard for us to say, this is what happened then.
Well, let's take this a step further. So let's just say and she wants to talk about this. Children will talk when they're ready. Your children are not ready to talk to me or anybody else. We traded up interviewers today. We went from male to female, back and forth. But when they are ready, if and when, and you can have the same thing at Children's Justice Center, do a courtesy interview for us and send that to us. And we have 4 years from yesterday, to continue to build this case.
And we'll do it.
Although it took some time, eventually the 4 girls opened up about what they had been subjected to. It was revealed that not only had the 2 oldest girls been betrothed, but the younger girls, both 4 years old, were also betrothed to their own fathers. Following the children's admissions,
even the 4-year-olds, man,
Sam was charged with 2 counts of child sodomy, 1 count of child bigamy, 1 count of obstruction of justice, and 1 count of lewdness with a child. John was given similar charges, finding himself facing 1 count of child sodomy, 1 count of child kidnapping, 1 count of child bigamy, and 1 charge of obstruction of justice.
Has anyone threatened or coerced you into...
Wait, so we never really saw John in this video, right? That's crazy. Yeah, they never had John in person.
Has anyone threatened or coerced you into entering into an agreement with the state in this case?
I'm not in any illegal manner, no.
But are you telling me that you are voluntarily entering into that agreement, even if you don't love the terms?
Yes.
Okay.
Sam initially pleaded guilty. However, 2 months later, he tried to withdraw that guilty plea. According to Sam, he had been strong-armed by his lawyer into entering a guilty plea. He also claimed that while he was ready to confront a mental health issue that was making him act irrationally, he maintained his innocence for the crimes committed against the children. The judge rejected Sam's attempt to withdraw the plea.
Judge. I'm really glad the judge was able to see through that lie.
The judge rejected Sam's attempt to withdraw the plea. While Sam was trying to protest his innocence, John was doubling down. According to attorneys, plea negotiations with John were largely going nowhere, as the man was convinced his actions were sanctioned. John expressed no remorse for the pain and trauma he caused, instead stating that he was Jacob from the Old Testament and that he had been sent back to Earth to promote child marriages.
Oh, shut the f*** up, bro.
John eventually told the judge that he wanted to be his own attorney and stated there was a lot of truth in the charges brought against him. After making his admission of guilt in court, seemingly accidentally, he eventually pleaded guilty to the charges. Both John and Sam were eventually sentenced to 26 years to life in prison. The court also believed Keith and Catherine Coltharp could have prevented this horrible act and protected the girls. As part of their sentences, Keith Coltharp spent 48 hours in the Sanpete County Jail, and Catherine Coltharp served 2 weeks of home confinement. They served 36 months probation and were asked to pay $25,000 restitution to the mother of the children. Unfortunately, life is still difficult for the children. According to Micah, her kids are grappling with the trauma they experienced living with their father. The boys told their mother that Sam would walk them miles into the woods before abandoning them. The children would have to retrace their footsteps to make it back to the compound.
Oh yeah, so these men were just torturing these kids for no reason, like just for fun, basically.
Micah also found that her children were so accustomed to the cold that she had to turn down the heat. This is because the compound, where the children lived for 3 months, had no electricity or running water. They were scared of the dark after spending so much time in it, and her sons had become conditioned to wear diapers to bed because it was too cold to go to the bathroom outside at night, and they wet the bed often. When they came home, the boys shied away from her girls. Micah later learned that Sam and John had separated the children because they saw their sons as competition and threatened to kill the boys if they contacted the girls.
Grown-ass men getting jealous of little boys that are the same age as the little girls that they were trying to...
When John's 4-year-old daughter was told that her father was being sent to jail, she responded, "Can they just kill him?"
Ooh, the daughter had full-on resentment for the dad.
Micah says they're getting a little better every day, and all we can do is hope that one day they're able to fully recover from the nightmare they were put through.
I mean, yeah, to end off this video, I hope the girls don't end up feeling some kind of guilt. You know how it's kind of common for victims to kind of blame themselves for what was done to them? That's just something the brain does. I hope that that isn't something that becomes a problem for them growing up. Yeah, survivor's guilt. Yeah, that's a video. Thank you, YouTube, for watching. Sorry if that was too intense for you, but hey, I think it's important to talk about subjects like this once again, to spread awareness, to open your eyes to the reality of the world. And no, yeah, that's all. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.